Countdown. Hi, guys. I think we're live. Let's pretend that we are. It's just us two tonight. Don't be afraid. Stay. Oops, I just kicked something. Stay. You are tuned into the same ladies' room. As you see at the bottom, welcome to the Ladies' Room podcast. It is your girl, the one and only Super Supreme Saiyan Wives. If anybody else is claiming this name, they are a liar and they haven't paid the $1,800 class membership yet. Don't let them sneak you on that. We are elite. Okay, it is here, Mrs. Jovo, to you. Go ahead.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? So you got me and Raven. We're gonna give y'all great conversation as always. We got some great topics lined up. Do not forget to share our channel with the Ladies Room Podcast on YouTube. Do not forget to hit the like button. Please share this podcast with a friend. Share our page with a friend. Get our likes up so we can continue to give y'all this great material, this great conversation. So excited hanging out with little sis tonight. Hey, everybody in the chat.
We are young and I am young in spirit. No. What is it? I'm young in age, but I am here with you in spirit, my queen. My Nubian woman.
I love it. I love it.
Now, I'm tired of people sunning me, man. This guy at my job, he was like, "Ain't you like 24?" I am the dirtiest of 30. Okay.
It's that face. It's those cheeks. It's
that's what I keep hearing.
That's what it is.
I'll take it.
Take it. Take it while you can. Because then I turn 40 and everybody like, yeah, you look 40 now. And it's like,
no,
shut up. Like, wow, okay.
First of all,
so take it while you can. Take it while you can.
Oh
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Blow us up in the chat tonight, y'all. Get in the conversation because we got some great topics.
Yes, we do. Oh my God. Hey, Ashley. Hey, girl. We're gonna start off with something that kind of blew up on Twitter. There is a young lady named Coach Stormy. Okay. And the topic is life coaches. Not because people don't need help in life. Okay. It's just some things I'm trying to figure out when it comes to life coaches. So I got a little clip I'm going to play. Bear with me. It is my first time doing the operations on this thing.
You got it, girl.
Yes. But I'm going to mute myself so you don't hear me clicking and banging. Can you see the video?
I can see the video.
All right. Look at.
I can see the video. Now you got to do is hit play so we can hear it. Yeah.
Okay. You tell me if you can hear it when I hit play. Okay.
Yeah, because it's a lot of people that just let people give them what they want them to have, and they accept it. And Stormy,
can you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fantastic. I'm gonna start it over. Restart. Now watch it take 30 years to restart. I want you to do this. Okay.
They put this on my plate. I will not. I don't do what they do. I do what I do. I'm not eat it. But I would never eat a plate that looked like this. Pay me $1 million to do that to myself. Oh my God! Because they're better than that. That's low vibration. If you took it, I would have been like, I'm playing like that. I tell you what I want. You don't tell me what I want. So my thought process is, if you can put it on my plate, but I don't have to eat it, I got to listen. I won't even look at it. That make you look bad. I'm a queen. Queen's plate for you. If we have two plates together, and so who's royalty? They would say this person. I agree. That's a good way. This is serious though. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that just let people give them what they want them to have, and they accept it. And Storm is teaching me right now. Yeah. Coach Storm is teaching me, don't accept what they put on your plate. They put this on my plate. I will not. I don't do what they do. I do what I do. I'm not eat it. But I would never eat a plate that looked like this. Pay me.
Okay, I just want y'all to get the gist of the beginning. Hold on, let me stop.
Okay.
Fantastic. So, as you can see, the queen, really, she's not a super supreme sand wife. I will start off by saying that. Let me start off by saying she is not a supreme super saiyan wife, licking on them fingers, poking at people's food like that. Okay, that's rude. But go ahead, Michelle, take it away. You are the licensed professional here.
So let me just break this down. So the woman who said I'll never eat off of this plate, she's the life coach, Coach Stormy.
Indeed. Those young women paid 10,000, count them, 10,000 buckaroos to spend 3 days with her. This was a part of a event she threw and catered, which is even more ironic.
I really do think that people just be really out here saying stuff for like shock factor. Like I want to believe that people are just saying certain things and giving certain advice because they're trying to get their likes up and they want people to click. And that's what I hope this is. But if it's not, oh my God. Like I've always had, and shout out to all the life coaches. Let me just say this. I know some great ones. Okay. I do know some great life coaches. Shout out to everyone that is in that discipline of life coaching. But let me just explain to you all. You have people who share life experiences with you, and they use those to provide a teachable moment for you. Then you have people who have, they have life experiences, but they're also trained in certain disciplines to be able to convey certain concepts to you. That is a life coach to me. What I said before, you got a lot of people out here coaching because, oh, well, I've been in the game before, so that qualify me to coach. And that's not what this is. That's not what none of this is. Like, your experiences do not make you a life coach. You need to be trained on how to communicate your concepts to people. And anytime I hear anybody say that they are a life coach, a guru, a therapist, even in the church, they're a, prophet, a minister, whoever. Anytime I hear these people, throw out these titles and these A, B, C, D, E, F, G after their name, and they communicate or convey their information in either a passive aggressive way or an aggressive way, the red flags and the bells start going off. Because why do I need to point at your plate? I'm sitting there. Why do I need to be sitting there like just point? Yeah, like digging at your food and oh, I wouldn't have took that. Like what are you teaching in this moment? Are you, and that's why I said, and I think I put this up on Facebook, I think one day last week or the week before, and my status said, are you correcting and teaching because you actually care about people and you want to see them do better? Or are you correcting and teaching because you just like the sound of your own voice? And it sounds like Coach Stormy with her $10,000s and her bikini on, sitting poolside with these women who eating out the palm of her hand. Sounds like to me, she loves the attention. And unfortunately, TikTok has given a lot of people just one more platform to convey what they think is valuable information to other people. But how you show up when delivering a message, it matters. It does. And she didn't have to be picking at that girl plate. Like just. And then what really was disturbing was, and Stormy is teaching me right now. Like, Raven, what do you think about that part? Like, please comment, because.
First of all, it was the I agree. It was all that for me. Because how are all y'all followers? Nobody stand up. Ain't nobody got a spine. First of all, we're all eating the same food.
Exactly.
Low vibrational, the same food you're eating on your plate is also low vibrational, just at a smaller low vibrational portion. What is happening here? Not only that, but it was the name calling for me. I'm a hood rat. Because
I just touched on my yes. First of all, oh hey, everybody out there. in YouTube world and social media world. Your therapist or life coach should never be labeling you as something. They should be discussing your behavior. Name calling is a poor habit in conversation, and it also triggers people to put up defense mechanisms. And when your defense mechanisms go up, your ability to receive information goes down. You don't want to hear what they have to say because they've labeled you. Please do not allow life coaches to call you out of your name. Like, seriously.
Stick your finger in your plate.
Right.
More. I want to replay it so you can see. She licked her finger and stuck her finger in the lady potato salad and then into her burger. I think she wanted to get a little taste test. You know,
that's what Big Cap in the comments says. He said? Zoom in on the plate.
I know, right? Let me see. I'm trying to figure out.
Can we go back to the video? I have to see this. We're gonna do this. Big Cap, we got you in the chat because we need to see what this plate look like. Because
we're gonna look at this plate. We're gonna listen to.
And why is it a hood rat plate? That's what I want to know. Is it because it's
birds in the background too?
You know, is this? And you said this is an event that she's hosting, right?
Okay. Let me go ahead and set the scene. Okay,
yes, please.
Because I was blown away when I heard about this on Twitter. So she's a life coach for one day. It's like $1,800 to spend a day with her. Okay. I'm assuming it's not a full 24 hours. You do the math. $1,800 for maybe, let's be nice and say she's going to give you 8 hours of her time. Okay. For a 2-day excursion, you get to tour her closet, see what she wears so that you, hey man, so that you know how to dress like the baddest queen, I guess, whatever. So you'll tour her closet, you'll go to some yoga, I don't know, workout retreat, and that is $5,000. And then for the 3-day weekend, yes, ma'am, the 3-day weekend, you spend all 3 days with her. You go on a yacht party. Food is included. So the food they're having is what she catered. You brought this low vibrational food to us. But let's watch the video again, because I want y'all to hear these little birds in the background talking about, I agree. And they grow too old.
Yeah, I need to see this.
Myself. They put this on my plate. I will not. I don't do what they do. I do what I do. I'm a leader. But I would never eat a plate that looked like this. Pay me $1 million to do that to myself. Oh my God! Because they're better than that. It's low vibration. If you took it, I would have been like, I'm playing like that. I tell you what I want. You don't tell me what I want. So my thought process is if you can put it on my plate, but I don't have to eat it. I got the distance. I won't even look at it. That make you look bad. I'm a queen. Queen's plate from like. If we have two plates, we play together. And so who's royalty? They would say this person. I agree. That's a good way. This is serious stuff. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that just let people give them what they want them to have, and they accept it. And Storm is teaching me right now. Yeah. Storm is teaching me don't accept what they put on your plate. They put this on my plate. I will not. I don't do what they do. I do what I do. I'm a leader. But I would never eat a plate that looked like this. Pay me $1 million to do that to myself. Oh my God! Because they're better than that. It's low vibration. If you took it, I would have been like, I'm playing like that. I tell you what I want. You don't tell me what I want. So my thought process is if you can put it on my plate, but I don't have to eat it. I got the distance. I won't even look at it. That make you look bad. I'm a queen. Queen's plate from like. If we have two plates, we play together. And so who's royalty? They would say this person. I agree. That's a good way.
What is okay? What is a low vibrational plate? Anybody?
I don't know. I can't even tell.
What is she talking about?
They both got dead animals on their plate. I don't get it.
I don't understand how. And ladies, shout out to what I like to call affectionately, modern day Baps. Shout out to my Baps with y'all lashes, your extensions, your sew-ins. Like, I love it. Like, the Baps. Hey, I got photos from back in the day. I was the quick weave queen. You hear me? Like, hey, shout out to y'all. But seriously, why we always getting these terms out the dictionary, or we done heard somebody just, if I have to hear vibrational or vibration, narcissism or narcissist, or toxic one more time,
Masculine,
like
feminine.
like seriously, like what is a low vibration plate? Because y'all was smacking on the same stuff. And how do we not know that you had cleared some of your plate before you started? I wouldn't have ate none of that. You bought
This your third plate. I bet. This your third plate. I bet you wouldn't have ate none of that.
like seriously. Like, oh my God. Like, oh my God. Like, oh my God.
It was the fact that she asked a question that she was gonna answer.
Right.
Who do you think this queen?
This is not
royalty. My plate. Why?
Right. 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 Like, this is my thing. My thing is this. Like, if you're gonna be a life coach, please seriously, like Miss Coach, what's her name? Coach what?
Coach Stormy.
Coach Stormy coming out a bit. I'm smelling scammer vibes. Like, you scanning these women. Like, I need to see some other results. Like, what's some? I need to see some other videos. I might have to look you up on TikTok because I don't see the growth in this particular moment. Like, what are you teaching this young lady? Nothing. You just
she's teaching her what royalty looks like. Okay?
Oh my God.
That's what she's teaching. Coach Stormy knows. There was another video going around where she took the same, well, not the same. I'm assuming it's another group of ladies. She took them out on like a 2-day excursion. On the 2-day excursion, you go out to this fancy restaurant. At the fancy restaurant, now my year, everybody already put in like $6,000 to be here. At the fancy restaurant, after everybody eats, she lets the cat out the bag and she's the cat out the bag. She lets the cat out the bag and she tells everybody, we're gonna play credit card roulette. Everybody puts your card in the hat. Yes, ma'am. Fix your face. You're not ready. You're not ready. You're gonna play credit card roulette. Now we had a Russian tea house, okay? We're gonna play credit card roulette, and whoever card gets pulled out, that's who has to pay for all 10 of these girls sitting here. Wrong.
That's scam. That is scamming behavior.
No. Here's the kicker. This is where it gets worse. The waitress is obviously over her shit because she puts the cards behind her back. She only pulls Coach Stormy card. Why Coach Stormy don't want to pay for it? She was like, I was trying to teach a lesson. I can't teach this lesson now. Why you can't still teach it, queen?
Right.
I got my place.
Hey, you got the money. You got the money.
I just paid you.
The hostess. So my thing is, you a queen. Okay, let's talk about queen behavior. Okay. And I think we talked about this on another show where I use the analogy. Like, I am a married grown woman now. I'm not in college no more. If me and Raven and Belle and Cannon, if we go out for brunch and I invite you all, I text you all and say, hey, we're going to meet in Midtown at this spot for brunch this Saturday morning and we're going to turn up. I put the invite out there. I am going to pay for the brunch. That's just how I think. Now, if we decide amongst the group that, hey, let's get together for brunch. Okay, sure. My queen etiquette is, I might say, hey, girls, I'll take care of the first round. And because that's what we do. This whole, we finna play credit card roulette and, I ain't paying for that because I'm in the middle of teaching a lesson. First of all, your program is tacky as it's tacky AF, okay? Because a real life coach would have gotten coordination with the restaurant and said, this is what we doing. Let me tell y'all something. I'm coming close to the camera and y'all can send Coach Stormy my way. I don't care. If she ain't got no credentials where she has had some type of training and discipline and, no seminar proof, and how to manage yourself, like etiquette, whatever. Y'all start giving these people y'all money. And really, I just think that people are just so, I hate to use the word thirsty, but that's what it is. so thirsty to make a name for themselves that they just about will do anything, even if it goes against their level of, if they had it, integrity and their values. That is unethical behavior on a life coach part. And see, that's why a lot of life coaches, they don't want to become therapists, because we have an ethical code we have to abide by. And if we don't, they're going to sit you down somewhere. Life coaches are, people who's, I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you this 10-step process to start your own business. And then you paying this person $10,000, and then you use their methods and you don't even make $10,000 in your first year. Oh, I have a problem with that, Raven. I got a problem with it. It's a scam.
Okay, I do have a question. It's a little off.
Sure.
Topic, but it made me think about it when you said they were going to sit people down. After I ask this question, we can get back to the topic about codependency. But speaking of TikTok, there was a therapist who was speaking about why she would never get licensed. Because she said, it's too much going on with the system. The system's trying to hold the Black people down, yada, yada, yada. She's also an SW. Right?
Okay.
You know that. Okay. So is that like a conflict of interest? Because it just felt unethical to me.
It was.
SW.
It is very unethical. Like, seriously, like, as a therapist, as y'all notice, like, I randomly, and I'm trying to get better about it, but I will put up Facebook statuses over putting up video material. I'm very, very strategic about where I'm on video at. I'm very strategic about, what my background looks like, what I look like all these things. We live in a culture and society now where people are literally saying, it doesn't matter how I show up. It doesn't matter what I look like. You are being, if you have the desire to grow your practice and you're being licensed by an institution, it does matter. These people have standards. And she talking about, I don't want to get licensed. Boo. Like, we all got to. How are we going to systematically unmantle the system if nobody wants to get in and play the game? So, I mean, part of what I do with the work that I do, I work within the court system. And a lot of people, the system is against Black people, blah, blah, blah. Yes, the system was not designed for us. But why would I shy away from working within the system and doing my part when I can help somebody? That's the part she left out.
So do you think if she got into the system, she would have to give up being an SW? Because me and my husband were talking about it, and I was like, but, it's the oldest profession. What if it's like a little side business? Like, I just sell a little coochie on the side.
I think that if she's going to be taken seriously, and depending upon the population that she works with, because working in substance abuse counseling, I work with a lot of young ladies who have been in that industry, and a lot of them that have been physically, mentally, emotionally abused. And so, I try my best to keep my personal life separate from my clients as much as I can, but there are instances where I do share certain things. I think she's gonna have to reconsider that whole side business if she ever want to be licensed, like, especially here in Georgia. And I would say in any of the states in the Southeast, because they're not having it. They're not having it. We're in the Bible Belt. That's the reality. That's the reality.
That is fair. That was really off kilter. It just made me think
you raise a serious question, Raven, because how many more of these coaches we got out here, self-proclaimed coaches, they ain't went to the first seminar, they Googling everything. Because I'm telling y'all, most of this stuff that a lot of these coaches telling y'all, Google it and it'll pop up. You'll get it yourself. I'm just saying.
Yes, a lot of this is done with the easy. Go to the library. I assure you, get some Googling done. Go get some hard copies of books. Write some notes. Maybe pay some people that actually have like real results.
I'm just saying.
Or go to your local community college.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not Einstein, but Coach Stormy seems like a gamble. Like
Coach Stormy. Where is she based out of? I don't
know. I need to see. I want to say Houston, but I don't want to put that on them. I don't
Right.
want to put Play
Because
City.
and I would just be mindful. I would just be mindful of, why am I spending this money on her? Why am I what am I like, what am I gaining by hanging out with Coach Stormy? Like, why all the games? I don't understand that. And the gimmicks, because that's the same kind of energy that people were talking about when it came to like Dr. Phil. And even Dr. Phil started to pull back a little bit on just that whole Southern, like, shaming you for certain behavior, making jokes here and there, but then providing the therapeutic information. He started to pull back on that because Dr. Phil knew better. He knew better. You can't be sitting up and calling these people crazy and, stupid, and using all these terms that people who are not licensed will use. You can't do that. That's like me seeing somebody from therapy, and then the first thing I can't come out with is, oh my God, you're crazy. I can't do that. I'm not addressing behavior. I'm making labels. That's what I'm doing. It's crazy.
I like that. I like how you said that. We have another topic. I do, however, want to shout out our Falcons. Oh my God. When I say that last little interception,
Oh my God.
oh my God. I was determined not even to watch the game. I was like, you
Th-
know what? They're gonna disappoint me. I'm gonna have a
Man,
good
listen.
Sunday, not watch it. When I say that
Listen.
interception, I was like, and this is why.
Exactly.
Yes.
And look, I'm calling Robbie out. Shout out to Robbie Privilege, y'all. Our sis, who also has a channel, who also frequents our show. And as I take myself off camera, raw, here we go again. I'm just saying, it's all about GA, baby. And shout out to Cannon in the chat. Hey, Cannon. And Big Cap says, real talk, that's why I don't share you guys' content that I follow because of my business. I don't mix business with pleasure. Facts. Big facts. Because when you start blending in information, because even me, I'm mindful about what I share with my clients about struggles I've had in my life and how I move through them. And I have like a mental list of things that I am willing to share with clients. The other stuff, they don't need to know about. And boundaries are so important. And y'all know how I feel about boundaries. I talk about it at least once or twice a month on the show. Coach homegirl right here, she ain't got no boundaries. None whatsoever. Obviously, she doesn't communicate assertively. She feels like the only way she can get her message across is using this passive aggressiveness or this aggressive communication. It's out of pocket and it's out of order. It truly is. There's other ways in coaching people into positive behaviors than just you embarrassing them or playing these games. They got enough games in their life before they come and see you. That's why they're seeking out a life coach. Like,
I'm not spending $10,000 for you to play with my emote. Don't play in my face. And
I'm not spending $10,000 for you to look me dead in my face and say that's a hood rat play.
And
like,
you
I'm
served
asking for a refund.
And you served this food. Let's
you
make
served it.
Yes.
And we're not sitting poolside, sis, at these fancy cabanas or tables. We sitting right here in some freaking lawn chairs.
Hunched over.
Yes, like we kicking it at your uncle barbecue. And then you got the nerve to look over at me and say, that's a hood rat play. I would never.
Are you licking your hood rat thing? Oh my God. I cannot. I didn't see a napkin in sight, ladies. And you know what? I'm not even the most daintiest princess, okay? But I know that we dab in our corners with our napkins. We don't finger licking good. Come on now, girls.
Exactly.
That's why we do the Super Supreme Saiyan classes. Super Supreme Saiyan classes. Look, don't worry about Coach Stormy. We got you over here. Super Supreme Saiyan classes. We won't be licking our fingers and sticking our fingers in your potato salad.
Exactly.
And it's not going to be $2,000, okay? And for sure, it won't be that going on. And I won't put your credit card in the roulette hat. Like, girls, it's not going to happen.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's the same way. And, some of us have not been taught that art of doing our due diligence and proper research before we bring people into our everyday circles. It's just like you would do if you were looking for a plumber or someone to fix your car. You would get on Google, you would look at some reviews, you would ask around, And I just really want to see her reviews. I really want to hear from people that have went through her program and what life changes have they made other than, hey, my plate don't look hood rat anymore. Like, what are we really? And then this whole thing about looking in her closet, like people want to dress like her. Is this a thing? Like what?
The first day included a closet tour so that you can see the designer clothes that she wears so you know how to dress like the queen that you are, I guess. Or not the hood rat that you are, but the queen you want to be. You know.
Wow.
I put the link in the ticker at the bottom. I'm gonna drop it in the chat. You guys are welcome to call up, let us or stream up, kick in, dial in, whatever the term is. If you guys want to let us know about Coach Stormy or any of the topics we're going on through. The next one is cheaper by the dozen. Hold on,
yes.
Hold on. I'm going backwards. Okay. Are big American families feasible, realistic, or a necessity in 2022? Take it away, Miss Jovo. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat.
Okay. So to answer this question, okay, and Cannon kind of previewed this as a history lesson to us in another show. Years ago, people did have big families so that they were able to, manage their property, manage their land. Okay, there was no, birth control per se back then. So it was like if mom and dad in a healthy relationship and they are having, physical contact with each other on a day-to-day basis, obviously these kids, they coming from somewhere. So they're being produced. Okay. I know my dad came from a big family. My dad, is one of like, I think 7 or 8 kids. He's the oldest. If you think about some of your parents, aunts and uncles, they came from big families. My grandmother came from a big family, my paternal grandmother. So they needed people to work land. They needed, children in the home to, do domestic stuff. Like the bigger, the better is how they saw it, to get things done. And just genuinely because back then, especially in our community, with everything we had to deal with from oppression, slavery, whatever, it just, children were seen as a joy. You're raising your family, you're building up a generation. But in 2022, why are we having 7 or 8 kids? I don't know. Like, I really want to hear from somebody in the comments. Like, why are we? Because we discovered another YouTuber who, she is with child. And this is baby number 8. And I just, it just really, really blew my mind. Like, in 2022, people having, and I get it. Hey, Ashley! Hey!
Yes, we got Ashley in the building. Hey, girl.
Hey, Ashley.
Y'all.
Hey, I know. Long time no see.
I know.
Welcome, my girl.
Y'all holding it down tonight.
Thank you.
Going on.
First of all, you look like you've been in the Bermudas or Bora Bora or Cuba. You look like you're having fun without us.
My tan hasn't worn off yet.
I know. She got this golden glow about her.
Yes.
That says, I am out here living. I love it. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about these large families in 2022. And I don't know if it's economically smart. And then I don't even think that when you think about the economy, when you think about the way the world works today, like my thing is, and it really just like, unless you like, and I understand why military families are large. Like I see this a lot, having worked with family and children services, like a lot of large families I've seen from like early 2000s up to now. The dad is either military, and in a lot of these cases, the dad works, and mom has the, she has the budget and the resources to stay home, raise these kids to a certain age, and then it's like, the older siblings step in, they help out with. I don't. But I'm thinking like, if you're just kind of like your regular blow Joe, you probably shouldn't be having like 7 or 8 kids at one time, especially if, and Ashley, you've talked about this on the show, where, in in this world, we hear a lot of these men, they want women to go back into traditional roles and all of that. But how we gonna do that when you only make $35,000 a year, and then you want this big family? Like, who raising 8 kids off of the father making $35,000 a year, and then you want your wife to help you become like this? Y'all have this side business. Like, I don't like, somebody help me understand. Like, it's just like, Ashley, what do you think?
Well, in terms of two married people having as many kids as they want, I don't have no judgment about it unless they cannot take care of their kids.
Exactly.
If you cannot financially care for your kids, I'm not saying give them a lavish life, but just provide the basics, then I think that's irresponsible. Yeah, I think that's very irresponsible. Hey, Big Cat. You know, I know that people have like dreams of having big families, but I think as adults, you have to decide whether or not you can provide for your children financially, but also emotionally, mentally, physically. Can you be there? What type of life are you going to have? You know, if both of y'all are working tirelessly, just constantly, and you can hardly take care of your kids. You got latchkey kids, you got kids taking care of other kids. I don't think that's necessarily responsible. I don't, you know. But I also understand there are some people, very rare, but there are some people who feel like birth control or any type of, a contraceptive is not moral. To each their own, I just, I think we got to be careful. More power to folks who can provide for their kids,
Right.
But most people cannot do that.
Right.
The middle income earners cannot, and even some higher earners can't really afford to do that. So,
exactly.
And it's not just financial. There are other things that come into play with raising children. So I think that you just be responsible and not just think about yourself when you have a kid.
And then the time, you trying to like split time amongst all these kids. And then not to mention if all of them, like, you got 3 who are in sports and maybe, 2 or 3 who are into the arts and all of these things, like, it's just a lot. It seems like it's just a lot. Like, it's splitting up, because for me, it's time and money, and you can always find ways to make more money, but that time that they're growing up, you don't get none of that time back. So when you're working and grinding trying to feed them, but then that also impedes on the amount of time that you can spend with this number of children, then you have to weigh out the cost and benefits. Not to mention like the wear and tear it may do on a woman's body. Like, is it really, like, if you have a lot of health issues or you don't really take good care of yourself, or you have like even with your family history, your medical history seems a little shaky. I don't know if it's smart to have like more than maybe, I would say even 3 or 4 kids, So it's so many different things that we can factor into this that, so I'm with Ashley. Like, if you can't afford them, like, there should be no reason why, you showing this beautiful family photo and then it's like, okay, y'all, this is our Zelle, this is our Cash App, this is this and this is that. Like, to each his own, but my thing is, it just comes off like I can't afford them. It's just, I don't know. What you think, Ray?
So I love everything you guys have said. I think, like you said, Ashley, is even after a certain tax bracket, look at Nick Cannon. His baby mom just came out and said she's scared. She's scared to asking for a nanny, but she was saying she needed a night nanny for the children, because I guess she can't get any rest. She's a new mother. It's common. But people were saying, why not just ask Nick Cannon? And she made it seem like, what? That's unreasonable. So even after a certain tax bracket, 8 kids is still a lot of children. And to Ashley's point, why so many? If you can give 4 children the childhood of their dreams, why half-ass on 8? Like, why?
I don't necessarily judge people who can afford the children and you can handle these kids. You can give them the love, the attention that they need. Not that they need all, because even if you have one, your kid is not necessarily going to get every part of you, right? All
Right.
But you just got to be smart and not have kids just to have them. You know, you got to really plan. Like, there are so, and being in education, I see a lot of parents that don't want to deal with their kids. Like, I was actually just thinking about this last week, like just paying attention to some people. Like, it's like they can't wait to drop them off at school. And I understand parents need breaks and stuff, but when you just never want to be around your kid,
Right.
why did you irresponsibly have these kids? So, you know,
Right.
I just think that raising children is so much more than what people think. It's not just about, you know, providing monetarily. It's really being attentive to their emotional well-being, their growth, their social emotional well-being, you know, who you're raising them to be. You know, there are just so many things. You know, we just had a kid in our office, you know, who was, you know, talking about suicide. He's 10, you know, and so it's like, it took dad, because, you know, mom is deceased. It took dad to leave his job, drop everything, and see about his child. And unfortunately, so many people are not even attentive. They don't know what's going on with their kids. So it's like, I don't knock people, because I used to want a real big family. I think it's beautiful to have a big family, but when you do it responsibly, you know, not when you just popping out babies and you're not thinking about not just their financial well-being, but, you know, their emotional and mental well-being. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and I think that Ashley, you're absolutely correct, because even with, like, I tell people just from the jump, like August, like the fall and winter time, that's those are really bad times for me and my husband to just, you know, like take off. Or we might do date nights at home mostly, because our daughter, we have a child who is in school who has a schedule. Like, I really like, and not to call people out or just, you know, like put people on blast, but you should hear some of the responses I get from people who are just like, y'all don't ever go out and do anything and go nowhere. And I'm like, well, first of all, we're responsible parents. So we don't like go up the street or go downtown and leave her in the house by herself. Like, that's not what we do here. Like, we make plans. And I think that's the other thing to factor into, not just like a large family, but just a parenting period. Like, you have to understand that this is going to take a lot of your time. This is going to take a lot of your energy, and you're signing up for this when you decide to have a child. Like, I don't understand like how people just like, I literally had somebody like tell me, "Oh my gosh, she's with y'all all the time," and I'm like, "She's our daughter. Where else would she be? Like, where else would she be?" But when we want to go out or travel with friends, she's with her grandmother or trusted, you know, friends that, you know, or she may, you know, her best friend, they kind of, she comes stay here, Janae goes to stay with them. You know, we just work things out like parents should. And Ashley, I totally agree with you, because just volunteering at my daughter's school, they're literally having to beg parents to just even show up, to show your face in the office. And it's just like, how can you not make the time? And I get that people have, you know, other things going on, but even if you just volunteer to greet the kids as they come in the morning at school, like just showing that you care. Like, there are a lot of parents who they have these kids and they just, oh, I can't wait till school start. And then they don't get involved with nothing in school other than just, I'm so glad I got somewhere to put them during the day because they're getting on my nerves. Like, I don't get that. But it's just.
And that's why I said, if you have the opportunity to financially care for 8 kids, why not do the most you can for 4? You know, especially with the YouTuber we were listening to, she was openly talking about how she got the older kids taking care of the young kids. Oh, they're mommy number 2, they're mommy number 3. Children are children, not mommies, regardless. Like, there's no way you can make that switch. Either you're a mommy that acts like a child, or you're a child that acts like a mommy. Either way, the dynamics are messed up here. There's no way you can tell me, oh, you know, that's just how children. No, children are not supposed to be cosplaying as parents so that you can keep putting children out.
Right.
That's not how that goes. So, and to me, it feels like a way to rob older children of their childhood, because you have the children that grow up and then, they take care of everybody. They can never seem to be by themselves. They're taking care of every broken bird that stumbles across their path.
Yep.
They're super generous, as they should be, because generosity is a good thing. But that caretaker mentality follows you everywhere. You become people. It's insane, especially when you get it with girls, especially telling girls, oh, you're supposed to be agreeable, keep the house together, don't fuss, don't fight, don't raise your voice. It sends a whole different message. So to me, I think we really have to start talking about why people want a bunch of kids in the first place. Because when you talk to them, it seems like kind of egotistical. I want a bunch of mini me's running around. Why you?
Right.
Why do you need 14 of you?
Right.
Let's just talk about that.
Right.
You think we really need 14 of y'all?
Right.
For real, tell me why you think we need 14 of y'all. And then, Boris, I need somebody to take care of me when I get older. Okay, so you're having children so that regardless of how you treat them, when you turn 85, somebody will be there to care for you. What about actually putting people out in the world that are going to be a positive change into the world? Making sure people are well-rounded. Because when I heard the YouTuber say that she just makes her older daughters work for her so she can just keep popping out babies, it broke my heart. Because God forbid those little girls want to be into horseback riding. God forbid they want to be equestrians. They can't, because mama got baby number 12 on the way.
Wait a minute. So there's somebody who says she makes her kids work, like outside of the home work? Or
no.
No, like help with the other younger children.
So that she can have
which to an extent, I get it. I get that, okay, say you have, because shout out to my sister-in-law, she has 5 kids. And the older ones do watch out for the younger ones. But it's not to an extent where none of the kids feel like they don't have a life.
Right.
Because I'm always right, just watching my brother and sister, or I'm always doing this or that.
Right.
We try to be very hands-on with the kids for them to be like, when we go on family vacations and spring breaks and all this stuff, I'm encouraging them to, hey, y'all, let's do what kids do. Not like y'all just sitting at home like adults. Like, let's have some fun. I couldn't imagine having more children and looking at my daughter and saying, okay, now you're gonna have
I need you to be mommy number 2.
And it's like we're the gatekeepers to our children's childhood. And what I try to consistently tell myself is that my daughter is not me. Like, we had this conversation, last night. I told her to describe herself. And I told her, don't ever say or do anything that you feel like, oh, I gotta say and do this because my mom would love to hear me say and do this. Be your own person. And I think that some of us are living vicariously through these children. Like, I had to hold myself accountable and not post my daughter as much on social media, because I just have these proud mama moments. But I had to be like, pull back a little bit. Mm-hmm. Some of these kids' birthday parties be just over the top. They be over the top. They're what the party describes the parent, and it doesn't describe the child. Mm-hmm. You have these moms who, it's like early on, they're teaching these young girls very early about makeup and about, all these different things that people would deem to be super feminine and all of this. And it's just like, I just feel like it's a time and a space to teach your daughter or your son certain things. Like, even with, I can remember, I can't remember how old my daughter was, but at her daycare, they wanted to do like a quote unquote, and this is a trending thing, these junior proms. And it's just like, why do I want, she gonna have prom in high school?
Yeah.
Like, why are we rushing these processes, people? Like, I don't understand this. Like,
I want to point out, I commented on the video. Sorry, guys. When I see something, I do have bad impulse control when I want to respond to it. So I did comment on the video. And I asked, because she specifically spoke about how girls are supposed to be the caretakers. It's their feminine role to take care of babies and all that fun stuff. Convenient. But I asked, because the male's role is to protect and provide, Does this logic also follow sons? So are sons expected to go out and get jobs? If y'all can't afford to get food this month, are sons expected to go out at 10 years old, go sell newspapers on the corner, shine some shoes, something, I don't know, to provide for the family? The interesting response I received, okay?
I'm curious.
Now, I'm gonna read my comment and I'm gonna read her response.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see where where the disconnect. Maybe y'all can make the math for me. Okay, my comment says, does this logic apply to sons? If parents continue to produce babies they cannot afford, are sons expected to go out and provide, or is it only daughters who are expected to fill in, the role? Her response was, that's like asking if my daughters are required to have with my husband when I cannot. Why is that where your mind went? Now, this particular yes.
Oh, y'all see my face? So
yes, this particular YouTuber has always reminded me of Lynn Whitfield off that Tyler Perry movie. Which one? Family Reunion or Diary? One of them, when she was selling her daughters or her husband. When her response said that, I was like, see, God gave me the gift of discernment, because I'm telling y'all, this is craziness. Why is that the first place your mind went? Why is the first place? You know what? That's like telling my daughter she's got to go in there and please him. What? How is that? Huh?
Just like Candace says it, they tell on themselves.
I want to call the facts, okay?
They tell on themselves. And it's like, if you, and this is the other thing too, when you talk about having a large amount of children, like on some level, and I can remember the exact age my daughter was, where, because I always tell people every great therapist has a great therapist themselves. And I can remember having that conversation with my therapist, just talking about how I don't want past family trauma. I want it to end with me. I don't want to pass down certain things to my daughter. So how do I strategically, stop this cycle of making my trauma a part of my daughter's childhood experience? Like, I'm letting her do certain things, or I'm probing her to do certain things because of what I dealt with as a child. Learning to separate, this is who she is as an individual, and these are her skills, and these are the things she likes, versus me trying to push her into certain things because, oh, well, I didn't have that as a kid, or when I was a kid, this happened to me. And I think a lot of parents, they're not really getting it. Like, that is something you need to mentally work out, So I just wanted to add that is very disturbing. That's what the first comment just was about, something, just
exactly. Why crazy. Is that? What is that, like word association? Why is that where your mind went? Right. I do want to welcome Big Cap. Hey, Big Cap. We got Big Cap.
Hey, y'all. What's up? Can y'all hear me real good?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Cool, because y'all coming through my truck. If I wasn't in my company truck, I'd cut my camera on, I swear. But that plate sure did look delicious, boy. I'm telling you. When that stomach get the growling and ain't nothing else around, she would have ate that sandwich, bro. Just too many people right there at that moment. Some people, like, I was just on the panel the other day where I wasn't up there, but I was listening to the show, and people was just talking sideways, and I'm like, bro, y'all got too much pride these days too. Like, if you don't put your pride aside and eat that sandwich, bro, and keep it moving, we spend $10,000 out here. Come on, bro. I'm pretty sure the next place we going to is gonna be way better than this. And if not, y'all got Uber Eats. You better make it work.
So you would have ate the hood rat plate.
Yes, I would have ate that. Man, look here, man. I'm hungry, bro. We've been drinking. We've been kicking it. I'm hungry, bro. And I want to be able to stay up and continue to party. I'm not trying to go lay down because my head hurting and everything else. Nigga, eat this sandwich, keep it moving, and let's find something else.
So what would you think if you were at a like cookout and you saw a woman with a plate like that? What would you think?
If I was at a cookout?
Yeah.
I would have ate it. I would have took a bite respectfully in their face, and then just, how we do. We find our way towards the trash can and throw it away. But I ain't gonna just downplay your stuff. I know what I was walking into.
Would you classify her as a hood rat if you saw a woman like you chilling at a cookout and you saw this woman's plate, like the plate that we just saw in the video clip? Do you think that would you classify her as a hood rat?
What would you think? Yeah.
Do I classify her a hood rat based off of the plate that she gave me?
No, the plate that she had.
The
Like
plate.
if you saw a woman who had, like the lady in the video, let's say you chilling at the barbecue and you see a lady, that's her plate with all of that food on there. Would you classify her as, oh, she a hood rat because she got all this food on her plate?
No, that little nigga hungry. Let her eat, bro. No, in all honesty, no, man. I couldn't contribute what she got on her plate as to be a hood rat, bro. Like, is that what level we on these days? Like, what I got on my plate makes me a hood rat? Come on,
Coach
bro.
Coach Stormy said it in the video.
I don't know who that. I don't know who that is, so I ain't got nothing to say. I don't know who that is, so I ain't got nothing to say about the lady. You know what I'm saying? So, like, hey, if that's how she feels, that's how she feels. Who cares, bro? At the end of the day, like, oh well.
Big Cat, what are your thoughts on large families nowadays? Like people who have, more than like maybe let's say 5 kids. Like what are your thoughts?
I got 4 kids. I got 4 kids, and I loved the thought of a big family. But as we started growing our business and moving on around in life, like, hey man, there's some better things that we want in life, and we can't get there if we constantly gonna give to our kids. Now I'm not gonna kill myself just to make sure my kids got it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, y'all gonna be comfortable, but y'all ain't gonna be out here just balling out of control unless I'm getting it like that. If I'm getting it like that, then yes, y'all can ball out of control. But no, man, realistically, no. If you can do it, by all means, do your thing. Like I said, didn't nobody say nothing to Kiki Wyatt. She got 10, 11 kids, don't she? Everybody pointing out Nick Cannon and everybody else. Now I point these females out too. They got a lot of kids too.
Right. And see, that's the thing. Like even with the Kiki situation, I'm always very curious about how these families manage. Like I would love to spend a day with them. And just
hey, they got them
she's an entertainer, so she's on the road, she's traveling. How do you manage a family of that magnitude? Because I know some of her kids by now are older, but with the younger ones, how are you managing that many children and still maintaining a career as an entertainer? I would love to ask her that question.
The best answer I can come up with is where's your support at these days? You know what I'm saying? Some people still got that support system like that, and some people don't.
Yeah.
In my honest opinion, because when we had our kids, it was like, man, hey, bro, it's just me and you. So we got to make it happen. Or I got this 5 babysitter over here. She gonna watch them for us. But other than that, most people still got both parents, one parent that's solid, or some people got their whole family that's solid, and they gonna help them. Especially for those who get on in life, like make it big. They was like, yeah, I was here at the beginning before you made it. So yeah, I'm gonna continue to help. Or you know what I'm saying? They just got the money to pay somebody to do it. Who is that? DJ Envy? He paid people to watch his kids. So I mean, different strokes for different folks, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it makes a difference too when you have a partner and you're doing it together, and y'all live in the same house. Like I think Kiki and her husband, they didn't have all their kids together, but at least they're now. I think they're together in one house. Like I think she had her kids pretty much with one man, except for she had one with her ex-husband. I'm not sure, but I think they are together. Like, look, we gonna do this together. I never really thought Kiki was still kind of popping though. I might see her every once in a while, so I don't know. I thought she was doing the stay-at-home mom thing. I don't know what she's doing.
No, it's a video out with her now. Like she was basically.
Better get up off my first love, boy. She's gonna come at your neck. My first love still popping.
She's wonderful. She's still touring. Like I know in the South, she's still touring. Like I want to say, she was recently in. I want to say, was it Macon, Georgia? Like she was recently here in Middle Georgia. Like she kind of do the same tour, the kind of same dates and cities as Fantasia does. So
hey, I thought she was doing the gospel stuff too, though. So
she's doing that as well. Kiki is like one of the only artists right now that has a country album, a gospel album, and an R&B album. Like she
And,
put
you
in
know,
the work.
they get the charge for those verses too, though. So don't be surprised a good $20,000 invoice come to your, you know what I'm saying, office because she did a feature for you. So I can
Yeah,
see why. You know what I'm saying? She
yeah,
might not be popping on the TV and the radio like that, but if she did something behind the scenes, that
Yeah.
invoice come through. I know because I love to send invoices. Like, hey, they come through. Make sure you pay it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you guys have heard about the who was it? I want to say it started with a J. I want to say Jonas, but I'm pretty sure that's not it. But they had 18 kids, okay? It's one of those big families. They were on a
The
farm.
Duggars,
Yes, the Duggars. There you go. I don't know why.
Yeah, the family that was on TLC, they had like their own show for a minute. But then there was some
Right.
allegations, right, that came
That's
out.
what I was gonna say. Do you
They were
guys
confirmed. The family confirmed them that one of the brothers was like molesting some of his siblings or one or two of
Wow.
his siblings.
right?
It was really crazy, yeah.
So
But
how many kids do you guys think is too many? Because I think they were like 18, 19 and counting or something like that, 21 and counting, something to that effect. So like I know I hear you say a lot of times if you can afford it, keep going. But if you got one child, you know, assaulting all the children, then obviously y'all are having a lot of blind spots here.
Right.
So how many? Let's just personal opinion. It doesn't have to have any stats or anything like that. I just want to hear how many do you personally think is just what, call defects on them. That's too much over there.
I
I don't know because I wasn't the only child, so I can't answer that question. I came from, you know what I'm saying. I have a younger sister, so I can't say the answer for somebody who was an only child, like my wife. She wanted more siblings, but it didn't work out like that for parents. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but just to answer the question straight out, I feel like anything more than 8 is too many. Cause you can like do a whole lot of things with 8. That's a whole football team. You know what I'm saying? My son plays football. That's the only reason why I say that. So that's a whole football team. I got a whole cheer team. I got a volleyball team. I'm into sports. So hey, let's do that.
I'm
8.
honestly like, I know it's a vague answer. People don't like vague answers or indefinite answers, but I think it just depends on the family. Like, as long as you are taking care of these kids, and I don't mean just financially, but you can be attentive to your children's well-being, then hey, and you can take care of them financially, then more power to you. I grew up in a big family. My grandmother raised me. She had 12 kids of her own with my granddad. And they had a beautiful family. So, and this was back in the day, like when they didn't have much, but there was also a village, and it still worked. The village wasn't so and so down the street. It was family. It was great grandma. It was auntie. Like, it wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like, it was family work together. So I really just think it depends. Like, I really do. I think it just depends. Like, some people don't think about their kids outside of birthdays and buying them this and making sure they have clothes. That's what a lot of our people unfortunately think raising kids is.
They do.
And so but if you have the capacity to provide for your children, and care for your children, not just monetarily, but their emotional and their developmental well-being.
Right.
I don't necessarily think there are too many. It really depends. It depends on your circumstance.
Right. Absolutely. For me, I think anything like over like 6. Like 6 is the cutoff. And again, I'm kind of like Ashley as well. Like, to me, it's just, when you're not prepared, that's the thing. And you can never be super prepared for children. I get it. You can never be super prepared for kids. But on that same instance, it's like, if you don't make the proper, if you can't provide, not just financially, but provide the time, provide the energy with an X amount of number of kids. Because I know just with my one daughter, it's a lot for me because I try to be hands-on, as much as possible. So I'm just imagining, 6 of her, that's a lot. That's a lot. and I think that, people just need to know what they're signing up for when you decide you're going to have this large family, you know.
That's
Um,
not fair to say, really, though, because nobody knows what they signing up for with one child. You
this is
think you
true.
know, but people really don't know.
This is
Like me,
true.
I
But
didn't
the
know when we
basics,
had
though.
our first.
But the basics, like for me, like I didn't grow up, like I grew up early on in life with my parents, but I have not lived in a house with my mom and dad since I was like 6 years old. So to see a two-parent dynamic, I've lived with, I've stayed with my aunts, I've stayed with my grandma, my granddaddy, both sets of grandparents. Every home was different. So when I found out I was pregnant, I signed up for a parenting class. Me and my husband went to a basic care class, like how do you hold the baby? How do you bathe the baby? Because my grandmother, I love my grandmas and my aunts or whatever, but it was just like, it was this whole, you gonna figure it out. And in my mind, it's like, that ain't gonna know. Like, I need to know, like, what am I gonna be doing? Because you all are gonna be here, like, maybe, after we had a few family members around when my daughter was born, but then after she came home from the hospital, like, it was me and her. And it was like, I need to know what to do and not be able to, I can't call you panicking on speakerphone. I don't know what to do. Like, help me. Like, I needed to know. So I think we just need to be more proactive too. And not assuming that, because we Black and we grew up in these large families, all of us know how to parent. Not all of us do. I was very intentional about, because I didn't have a mom to take me to the side and say, okay, this is how you gonna dress the baby and do the baby like this. I read a lot of books. I asked a lot of questions with moms that I knew. So, and I wasn't ashamed to do that. So,
I think that's a great point. A lot of people are afraid of going to get, professional help, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right, so I got one more question before. This is a serious question, okay? This is what I really, really need to answer it to. I need it real good so I can see how I move through life. And then we're going to go on to our last topic because we can't be here all night. The serious question that we have for tonight is, do you get to have a baby shower for all these kids? If you go up to 12 kids, you have a baby shower for all these kids? That's what I need to know right now.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And the difference is the gifts, like, they just turn into real good stuff, like diapers, wipes, stuff like that. It ain't all the clothes and all the other stuff, man. Look here, you better put your pride aside and save little Junebug clothes from last time.
Yeah.
That stuff didn't get tore up. Like,
Yeah.
I'm good enough to say I can put my pride aside and say, nah, bro, this right here still lasted, because I have, in the line of work I do, bro, we got customers who ask us, hey, you know somebody who need these type of clothes that our babies didn't get to wear it. I mean, like, man, my kid's older, bro. I don't know. Even though I do know people who got small kids who can wear it, but it's like, man, some people pride too big. They gonna be like, man, why you bring me this for? This stuff brand new. But at the end of the day, to answer your question, yes, you can continue to have baby showers. It's just your gifts gonna change. That's all.
I think the courteous things would be to tell people, don't buy nothing. Because really, baby showers should be, well, primarily to celebrate the baby anyway. So it doesn't
Can
have.
y'all drop me?
I mean,
I'm about to go in my house, man. I'm still listening, but I just pulled up at the house.
all right now.
Thank you, Big Cap, for being on the panel. We appreciate you.
No problem. I'm still listening though. Y'all be great.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's to shower the woman too, but it's like, I don't know. It's like if you've had 5 baby showers or even 3, it's like, if they have similar sexes, or the same sex, it's kind of like, well, maybe you should just ask people, I just want y'all to come and celebrate with me. Y'all don't have to bring no gifts,
Okay, gotcha. So do you tell the child when they get older, you ain't get no baby shower with your brother get? Because that's the part I'm like, this is serious. That's why I said this is the meeting.
Oh my goodness.
I need to know my kids, if that's the case.
Because of my daughter being, what we deemed a miracle child, I think I had I think I had almost 4 baby showers. No, I had 4 baby showers. It was a lot. So I got a lot of gift
Oh,
cards.
because
But
you had like work baby showers, school, or
yes,
like different people. Yeah.
like my family gave us a baby shower. My husband's family gave us one.
Oh,
My work family gave us one. And then my friends got together from college and they gave me a baby shower. So, I mean, I still have like all these baby shower favors, all of these different things, like favors that have like her sonogram pictures on them, all of this stuff. Like people were just super excited. And that, you know, like one shower was like a surprise. It wasn't even like,
yeah.
you know, so it was a fun time. And I used all of my stuff. What didn't get used, I did donate it to like, you know, a local, there's a domestic violence shelter for women with children, and I did donate that, or to like a pregnancy support clinic. And that's what I want to encourage, you know, the moms that are listening who have all these kids and they don't know what to do with the baby stuff. Like, it's good that you can pass it along to family and friends, but it's even better when you can like give those items to people who really seriously need them, because they will take them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So no, Raven, that is a funny question. I think if I was a kid and I saw pictures of, like my mom's baby, oh well, mom, where are my pictures from my baby shower? We didn't do a shower for you.
You were baby number 7. Sorry.
Right. That's
I don't
funny.
even know her. I'm sure she did. I think she did, but it's not. I didn't even think about that.
I'm an early 80s baby, so it was like back then it was like the grandparents and like the aunts buying a whole bunch of stuff. Like my maternal grandparents, because my mother was an only child, my mother got pregnant with my brother before I started walking. So when my grandma and granddaddy found out she was having more than one child, they just got super excited. So me and my brother always had like she used most of my stuff back then that was like yellow, but like my maternal grandmother would buy us the same stuff and we'd be looking alike, except for my brother's stuff would be blue, my stuff would be pink. Like it was just, you know, so it was different because they didn't do like showers back then. It was just like I remember seeing pictures that my great uncle has of my mom holding me when she got home from the hospital with me. And, you know, my family was present, you know, you got the drunk uncle over here, everybody excited, let's take shots. And then it was just like, that was like, I guess the baby shower. I don't know. So
see, I feel like y'all being so optimistic, because if Kiki Wyatt was my homegirl and she kept, I'd be a little offended. Because like, y'all ain't never heard of lifestyles? Y'all ain't never heard of magnums? Like,
why you having all these babies? We can't keep planning all this stuff.
Are you taking on this money? Because then, like, do I have to keep topping what I did for baby number 1? Because if I come back with like a cake and ice cream, but baby number 1, we did like a blow up house, do I have to come back? Like, it's too much pressure. It's too much. I can't.
And then the whole thing behind social media, because you see all these dramatic, like, I tell my husband all the time, I am so glad we didn't get married during this age, because some people do feel the pressure of, oh, my wedding got to look like this, and the baby shower got to look like this, and this got to look like this. And it's just like, no one wants to keep it simple anymore. So, you know, which I'm not saying that, you know, like, you know, Ashley, when you get married, like I can see myself coming to your bridal shower and just being excited, and it's going to be fabulous. And, you know, all of that, like, you know, do you, but, you know, I just think that I would say like after baby number 3 and you decide to keep going, don't expect no more baby showers. Like,
yeah.
You know, unless it's like a situation where you got maybe like, let's say like the first 2 of your kids are girls and then baby number 3 is a boy. Okay, right. Wow. Now we're excited.
That's different, yeah.
But then, you know, or twins. You know, pumped out 3 girls and baby number 4 is a girl.
But I can see myself like having a shower, because me, I like being around the people that I love.
Yes.
So I want them to share like.
And you have a large family, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and my friends who are my friends are like my family. So it's like, I want them to be a part of special moments. But I would just be the one that's like, okay, y'all, don't bring gifts. Like my family wouldn't listen. They probably wouldn't listen, but if I hash it out enough, like like don't bring no gifts, y'all, please. Like
I know, right? We on baby number 9, guys.
yeah,
Right.
like I have to do some type of celebration. My family, we make up reasons to get together.
Look,
So we would have to.
I'm saying, like, look, my dad's, because my dad has a lot of sisters, you know, and I have a lot of first cousins. My grandma has like, I think it's 17 grandchildren. So I got like 15 first cousins. So it's like, yeah, like we find reasons to get together. And these baby showers, like I remember my baby shower that they gave me. And it was so funny because my cousin was like, you're the one that usually does all the shower stuff. So like, planning your baby shower, we were lost. Like, oh my God, like what do we do? What games do we do? What color is this? How do we do this? So actually, our family is like you. Like we make a whole event, and it's just food. And my grandma is usually, you know, at the center, and just all of us want, you know, the pictures with the babies with my grandma, because my grandma getting ready to turn 90, and it's just like, you know, not many people. You know, our big thing is just centering around grandma and letting her know, oh, here's such and such had a baby, and you know, she get to hold the baby. And that's just like a whole, okay, grandma done breathed on you. Bless now, you know, that whole type of situation. So, yeah.
Y'all got your own little circle of life going on over there.
We do. It's so much fun. So I can relate to you, Ashley. I went to a baby shower where I thought it was really cool. The young lady, it was a friend of mine, her daughter had her first baby. She asked for she said, you know, gifts are not required, but if you do want to purchase a gift, you know, gift cards are welcome, and books. She wanted to read to her daughter early on. So that's the other suggestion I want to make to people who may not want people to buy all this stuff for them. You know, tell them to, you know, give the baby their first library card, you know, or their first little Barnes and Nobles gift card, and go buy some books.
Yeah.
I like that. That's adorable. All right, we're gonna get on our last topic, guys, because it's getting late. It is getting late. Okay, so the last topic it's a little heavy. It's been a lot of memes going around. So if you've seen the memes, of course, it'll add a little bit of lightheartedness to it. What's happening here?
Sorry, that was me.
Oh, please, good Lord. I can't take too much stimulation at one time. Okay. Steady. All right. So the last topic is Dahmer's Diner. Okay, I was trying to put a little lighthearted spin on it. Would you eat a diner? No, I'm just kidding. That's not the question. That's not the question. What it smell like is the question. No, I'm just kidding. No, the question is, I'm sure you guys, if you haven't, are familiar with the Jeffrey Dahmer case. He did cannibalize quite a few people, which is why I was trying to, you know, just add a little bit of comedy to the situation. But the question was, because the police's incompetence is really what highlighted the case for a lot of people. He got away with a lot of gruesome things simply because the police were either homophobic or racist. And that's what we are trying to find out today. Do you guys think it was more homophobia? Because in the series, he would say, you know, well, we're just gay. This is just what gay guys do. We just do this kind of stuff. And the police would just return his victims back and be like, okay, well, this is what gay boys do. But also with them being Black, there's also that underlining systematic racism you have to deal with. So this is, you know, nothing that has to come with any stats or facts. But do you guys think it was more homophobia or racism that led to the police's incompetence?
That's a good question. I definitely have veered on the side of it being racist, only because the person who kept complaining was a Black woman. It could be both. It very well could be both. But the lady who was complaining was a Black woman, and she was annoying. I saw the real interview of her, and she was annoying. She's very overbearing, but I think that it was sad to me, and the show wasn't about this, but it just highlighted our place in this society. As Black women, a lot of times people dog us because we're the loudest, right? and we get so passionate. But I think it's because of exactly what that lady went through. Like, she was constantly ignored and pushed aside. And we see this. And I don't want to go on a tangent about it, but I'm sure you guys have related to it too. Even just going to a doctor's office and having your concerns be pushed aside, negated, ignored, right? And we see that in a lot of different cases. Um, and so I think that's what happened with this woman. You know, she was right. Everything she said was right. You know, she was concerned about what was happening in her building, and she had every right to be that way. She spoke about it once, she spoke about it twice, she spoke about it 3 times, and on and on and on, and she was tuned out. And so a part of me does think that that was a little bit of racism. And you know, we Black people, we always say stuff like, well, if that had been a white woman, you know, it wouldn't happen. But it's, and we don't have no proof of that, right? But given our history and how things usually pan out, it's not such a strange assumption to make. Like, I wonder, like, had she been a white woman, had she been a young, pretty white girl, you know, would she have gotten a different response? And like I said, based off of what we know about our history, I would say she would have gotten a different response. So yeah, I personally think a lot of it was racist. Yeah. And it's not like a conscious racism. That's what people don't understand. Like, sometimes people aren't like always consciously racist, right? Like, there are some so-called good people, right, who have very strong biases that they are not even aware of. And so biases rooted in skin color and race and class. And so I think that those cops probably would have never said, oh, we don't care about that Black girl, you know, we don't care what she's talking about. But there's like a subconscious thinking that happens a lot of times with people that, okay, this person is just less than, or they're exaggerating, or we just don't care, you know? So that's just my little 2 cents.
I definitely think that it had a lot to do with just, you know, you got to think about, this was give or take like 90, 91 when all this went on with Jeffrey Dahmer. And you know, we just now, I can't remember if the Ryan White HIV thing happened before or after this, but we're in that cusp of learning about HIV.
Yeah.
Everybody is terrified.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has all these, you know, they're getting all this false information from the streets. You know, you turn on any talk show at the time. I remember being a little girl, like in like, I would say like early middle school ish, 6th grade ish. And I could remember, like, I was just telling Raven before the show, watching these documentaries, these talk shows. I know Oprah did a whole thing about the Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer and all of that. And it was a really scary time, because then during that time too, you got to think about all the other murders that were happening, like the boys in Atlanta. They were just coming off of that in the 80s.
The Wayne Williams murder.
Yeah, the Wayne Williams murders, where he was murdering young Black boys. Like, you know, I have family, they can recollect having, like, you know, there was a curfew. Nobody stayed outside at dark because he was grabbing up Black boys and, you know, killing them. And even with them doing, you know, them recently reopening that case and doing a documentary on that, you saw holes in how Black people were being treated by law enforcement during that time, what they were reporting. And think about it like this, right? We still have that stigma, or whatever you want to call it, where when one of us goes missing, one of our kids, we're having to advocate and put out flyers and tell the community, hey, you know, have you seen this person or whatever? Rarely do we get the amount of support that other races get when their kids are missing. And so I'm kind of like with Ashley. Had this woman been like this dainty white blonde and was complaining about this man living next door to her, you know, these cops, you know, we talking like Milwaukee. So like in that whole era where cops were really sticking together, it was a lot of corruption in Milwaukee, Boston at the time. Like, they would have knocked down that door she has concerns about you, she doesn't feel safe, whatever, what are you doing in here? And it wouldn't have been no questions asked. But because it was one of us, it's like, we just gonna blow that off. Like, we're gonna look into it because legally we have to, but you know. And then the whole perception of what it was like being homosexual back then.
Yeah.
You know, even the police officers, I was reading an article in the documentary of the real case, even the police officers that you know later were which I found very interesting. Later they were fired from the force, the two officers that kind of blew her off.
Yeah.
But then they get hired back on with the Milwaukee Police Department, and one of them becomes the president of the police union in Milwaukee. So it's just like, I think that had it not been anything, if it was heterosexual white people involved with this, the police wouldn't have skipped a beat. But because it was black people and because it was homosexuals, yeah, we just gonna joke about it. We're not gonna make a big deal about it. And then now when it catches wind in the country that this man has murdered 17 people, now it's like, oh my God. And it's like, y'all knew what was going on. You just didn't investigate. Like, people were literally just giving y'all the clues. Like, it's just.
Also, I know it might be a little strange, but I feel like it also plays a part into like the pretty privilege. Of course,
Absolutely.
he's a man. He had a lot of women sending him love letters, nasty pictures in jail. If you see this man, you know, he's a tall, blonde hair, blue-eyed white man.
Mm-hmm.
He's been lifting bodies and chopping them up, you know, so he's pretty strong. He got muscle on him, so he wasn't like a frail-looking man. So I think the attractiveness, you know, the whole good old American boy played a big role in it as well. And then class plays a part in it too. I think if he may have been in a trailer park, I don't think, you know, I don't think the police would have cared that much either. You know, with the opioid epidemic now, certain classes of white people are getting the help they need. Other classes are just kind of falling by the wayside.
Big facts on
that. You know, I think class plays a big part into a lot of how that played out.
Mm-hmm.
I know we said she was overbearing, and she was. She absolutely was. Similar to the black woman that, you know, had the outburst in court. We be traumatized. Like, overbearing is a very, 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 very small adjective compared to how she could be sleeping next to somebody with thin walls that's chopping up people, you know, every night.
Right.
7 people is a lot of people.
Right. But see, I don't even want to even put emphasis on her personality. That's the same thing they tried to do when they had the Trayvon Martin trial going on. Because his friend, the young lady, because of the way she looked, she was an overweight black girl.
Yeah.
And they picked her apart, what she looked like and how she spoke. And it's just like, why all this emphasis on Trayvon's friend when this man, who pretty much has told y'all he killed this boy, y'all are not picking him apart on the stand?
But that's what I think. I think people's thinking about the way people look, is part of the reason why it was ignored. Like, people, I've seen it in my own life. You know, you get presentation is everything to a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And there's some value in presentation, right? You all mentioned that with the pretend, the wannabe.
How you show up does matter. Yeah.
Right. But then there are some things like our skin color that don't necessarily speak to our character, right? But, you know, people have thoughts about that in their mind. And then same thing with weight, you know. So it's like a lot of things. Your dress up. If you're associated with the lower class economically, then people will shun you. People will tune you out.
Absolutely. And the sad part is, you know, I tell people this all the time. Like, I told my brother, I think people back home, like especially people that work at like my old school system that I was a student in, that they may not like me because like my whole thing was teachers and parents and people in the community, they played favorites. Like, if you were athletic, you were seen favorable. Okay. Even amongst, and we've talked about this on the show, like, and I grew up having this like inadvertently put in my head. Like if you're brown skin or light skin, your hair fall past your shoulders or whatever, you're considered pretty, and then people will be more apt to listen to you. Yeah. When you look at me with my little eyes, my big nose, my afro hair, my hair ain't gonna grow nowhere past that. That's it. It's gonna touch my shoulder and then blah, 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 whatever. Like I wasn't getting the same attention. And I think it's the same situation in this Dahmer. I agree wholeheartedly with what Ashley said. Had this been in a very prominent neighborhood in Milwaukee, where there were a lot of white citizens living, and this dainty white blonde female was living next door to Jeffrey Dahmer, it would have been a whole issue. Jeffrey Dahmer wouldn't have even got the number 17. But it just goes to show you, just like both of you all are saying, how they look at people, socioeconomic status, their skin color, their sex, sexual preferences, all this stuff. And back then, the police were notorious for making, it's just now in the later 2000s where people are getting apprehended and reprimanded for making jokes about homosexuality and, lesbians and people's sexuality. Back then, look at what is that movie with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington? Philadelphia. If you've never seen that movie, I really, really, really advise you all. I know Raven would love it. Go rent Philadelphia. Look it up on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix. Look it up and watch it. That particular movie was about a case about a lawyer who was once his colleagues found out he had HIV, they made jokes. They made it very uncomfortable for him to work in that environment. And so I think the movie Philadelphia came out in the early 90s. This is all around that time.
That was a good movie. And
it was a really good movie.
Very real. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the movie I think that Denzel should have won an Oscar for. I thought that Denzel needed an Oscar for that. Okay. But that was in the early 90s where they just did not believe that they're going to give us an Oscar one day. He had to play a crooked cop / drug dealer to get it. I thought he should have got the Oscar playing the lawyer in Philadelphia, but that's neither here nor there. But, really good movie. And they depict it there where high, middle class, high class, white members of society, homosexuality, it was something they knew about, but you didn't speak about it in public in the early 90s. And so then now you have this kid, Jeffrey Dahmer, who chopping up men, in his apartment, but they were actually really teasing him and teasing the people that he was, being with. Oh, they just a bunch of gay guys, ill. And then because of your opinions and your negligence, this man killed 17 folks right under y'all noses. So it's disgusting. And the other part, and I was telling Raven about this and then I'll hush, is the families, the survivors, the family who one of the ladies was on a radio show here in Atlanta. One of her brothers was Jeffrey Dahmer's victims. I think it was the victim who Jeffrey approached and asked him, did he want to make some extra money doing odd jobs? And he lured him, and then he ended up killing the guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she was just saying, it's not that, she said, I know I cannot censor Hollywood, but she said he's being really just glamorized by society when I don't have my brother anymore. And she said, when people go to make documentaries and movies, they never ask us how we feel about it. They never ask us what have been the lasting effects, and how your family member is, a family member that's no longer here, how their deletion occurred. That's a traumatic experience and it impacts everybody. So, and I can only imagine, and she was a black lady. So it was one of his black male victims. And I could just imagine her being a black woman back then, losing her brother, and then finding out this other black woman was really trying to be vocal to the police, but nobody listened. Mm-hmm. Just horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's the part that's heartbreaking for me. Mm-hmm. I think the series just kind of highlighted all the homophobia that was in it. Mm-hmm. And similar to your point, Ms. Jovo, before recently, you can look at different stand-ups from almost 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
LGBTQ people were like the easiest people to make jokes about. It was okay to, rag on them or whatnot. So
Yep.
just looking at it now, you see the dangers of dismissing a group of people or
Yep.
demonizing them or ostracizing them,
Mm-hmm.
because LGBTQ or not, I don't think anybody likes to play in handcuffs like that. Not with no full
Right.
blood around them, because all the evidence in that apartment, ain't no way. Um,
Do y'all
but huh,
can
go
I
ahead.
ask something? Do y'all think that Jeffrey Dahmer intentionally targeted minorities?
I think he targeted the people that were closest to him.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think, because I think his first few victims were white men.
They
Yeah,
were.
they
Yeah,
They
were.
were.
so I don't
That's
think.
what I thought too, but I just know that, and I know one of the cops. I don't know if that was something that somebody actually asked him in real life, but in that's the latest series on
Mhm.
Netflix, one of the cops asked him like you went or said you intentionally moved here for that. My thought was like okay, because my thought was that that's what he could afford and he happens to live there. But it is rare to see a white man, a
Mm-hmm.
young white man, especially from a family like where he was from, living in a lower income neighborhood. So I did wonder at
Because
one,
his father was a chemist.
yeah,
Yeah. Like,
mm-hmm,
yeah.
yeah.
I
So I
don't.
did wonder, like, do you think that was intentional? And not necessarily because he didn't like minorities. I
Mm-hmm.
think he had some type of infatuation with them. But I also wonder if he did it intentionally, knowing that those
Mm-hmm.
people would be under the radar. It would be harder, or it would be easier for him to get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's why he kind of veered toward them more.
So I know in a couple of interviews, and I'm looking at one that I tagged now. I know one he said that his plans were to use the dismembered, disfigured bodies. He was going to build a shrine, like some kind of yeah. He had a lot of course psychiatric issues going on, and I almost wanted to figure out if it was this kind of a was this kind of a reflection of how he saw himself, like just this kind of white gay guy, homosexual, who was kind of like did was him chopping off the body parts, was that kind of a symbol of I'm just kind of displaced myself, this is a representation of me, I'm not sure of who I am,
Hmm.
you know um so
I think it was a mix of what you said about his psychiatric issues. I think it would be
mhm,
hard to rationalize why you want to eat people up. That is just insane in the membrane to me. However, I do think this notion that serial killers are these super masterminds and all this kind of stuff. A lot of this was dispelled with this series because it wasn't that he was a super mastermind that just knew how to do things. His apartment stank. He had multiple
mhm,
witnesses that were there. It was literally just the police's incompetence, which is why I asked the question, the police force's incompetence, because he could have got stopped a long time ago. He said that he just kept doing it because it was easy. It was just easy to let's just do it. Why not? I ain't got nothing else to do. My bills paid, why not
right,
chop and eat some human heart?
I mean, he was
right,
So
in the whole apartment building doing it.
right, and so that's why I was really leaning toward the police force because with him having mental illnesses, I mean, I'm not trying. I don't really want to. I can't rationalize that. I mean, I don't think anybody can rationalize that.
mhm,
So I'm really just leaning toward the police department because that's what you're hired to do.
mhm,
17 people is what, two basketball teams? Wait, what the guy say? 8 people is a football team? That's two football teams.
right,
That's a lot of
mhm,
people to just pop up missing. So that's a lot of incompetence.
mhm, mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
a lot of
yeah,
oversight.
yeah. And then it's all these rumors about how Jeffrey Dahmer died. Like, was his a fellow inmate killed him. I think he had served maybe a year, if not that much in prison, and he was killed or whatever. I know, and it's crazy because, you know, again, here we are. I wonder what was his level of security in that prison, because like I worked at one of the prisons that Wayne Williams was locked up at. Like I worked there for like 2 years. We never saw him. His bath and meal times were different from the other inmates. They did have some of the things that he would like. They get to do arts and crafts, but like it's based on your level of security. So like certain inmates with certain security clearances, they couldn't participate in making things or having objects and stuff like that. They did allow him to make things. Like he did a whole scale of what the prison looks like to the T. Like, you know, you could go in and see it. But like we never saw him. Like he had specific officers, specific people assigned to his detail. And so I'm wondering, because Jeffrey Dahmer presented with someone who was, you know, a homosexual white guy, him being in a correctional facility, did they kind of set him up to be attacked? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
the guy who killed him did make a comment saying, because he was asked that question,
mm-hmm.
and what did he say? But I can't remember the exact words, but he alluded to someone helping, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to the guards, you know,
Mm-hmm.
allowing him to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dahmer was like, he was feeling himself. He was like, you know, at least according to all the documentaries that I've watched, because I've seen several of his. I don't know, I'm a little crazy though. I like.
I was just telling Raven that, like, as a kid, I was in middle school, because you got to remember, like, going back to school, because, you know, all these news, there was like really no social media. So it was like you watching Entertainment Tonight, Inside Edition, Oprah Winfrey Show. This is when talk shows were cashing out.
Yeah.
Donahue, Sally Jesse Raphael, all these different people. And it was like all these different shows.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dahmer, why do you do it? Or
He's
Jeffrey
had
Dahmer.
so many. There was just it didn't get as much notoriety, but there was another, I forget if it's on Hulu or what, but there is a fictionalized series of his life, and so it's well reported. But but he was like teasing and kind of boastful about what he did, you know, and people didn't like him. You know, even the guards didn't like him. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was set up. Yeah.
And that is why I always say, "Ho well." Okay, man, if you're gonna do it, you better ho well, and if not, oh well. So it's getting late, guys. We almost hitting 2 hours. We're gonna do our wrap up with our final thoughts, if that's okay with you guys. Everybody,
absolutely. And I just wanted to shout out, before Raven, we do that, shout out people in the chat. Mr. Rucker, thanks for logging in when you did. Big Cap, thanks for coming on. I believe We On Lock was in here for a minute. So thank you all for tuning in. Make sure y'all are sharing our channel and our shows. Yes. Hit the like button, share us, because we're only at the tip of the iceberg. The Ladies Podcast, we got so many more great conversations ready for you all. So we want you to continue to share the material. And shout out to Ashley for gracing us with her appearance tonight. So excited to see her. You know, so excited. We hope you will come back soon. And I'm going to let Raven take it back over.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right. Let me go and get back to the thing. Ashley, you want to do final thoughts first?
Sure, I'll do final thoughts.
Okay. We're going to make. Wait. Just kidding.
There we go.
There we go.
First off, I just want to say thank y'all for having me. I'm so happy y'all continuing the Ladies Room podcast. Everybody who watched tonight, y'all gotta share, okay? Share on social media and Instagram, wherever you socialize with people. Let them know about us, y'all. If you watching, let them know, okay? You might not agree with everything we say, but we talk about some very interesting things, and we like to hear from other people and have conversations. So share, and really, that's all I want to say tonight. That's it.
Thank you, thank you. All right, Miss Delvo, you ready?
I am ready. I am ready. Ditto to everything Ashley said. Keep sharing, keep hitting the like button. And we want you all to actively participate with us and join our Facebook group. Please join our Facebook group. And when shopping for a life coach, just know that if she ever calls you a hood rat, that is a red flag. She ain't ready to coach you. She's ready to embarrass you. And as I have said so many times on my social media platform, on this show, in other groups, shaming is not a form of teaching. Shaming can be a form of abuse. Shaming does not work. It only places defense mechanisms on people. If you're looking for a life coach, the one that's shaming and labeling you, they ain't the one. Those are my final words. Please be mindful, y'all, of who you are actually giving these titles to, coaching, therapists, and otherwise.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Miss Jovo. I've been trying not to work you too hard because I know that's what you have to do the Lord's work out here. So
oh my goodness.
But one day we're gonna do call in and ask questions with Miss Jovo. And y'all will get 35 seconds to get some therapy because we are not gonna work her hard, guys. All right, so I'm gonna give my little 30 seconds and we're gonna get up out of here. All right. Wait, do I? Okay, fantastic. Always Supreme Super Saiyan Wives class, $1,800. If you sign up, you will not have anybody sticking their nasty fingers in your plate. There will be no type of vibrationals going on about any of that because we don't have anything vibrate like that around our Super Saiyan Supreme Wife classes. But let's see. Stay away from vibrating coaches. That's right. Maybe let's stay away from 21 and counting, guys. If you can afford to give 4 kids the best childhood ever, then do that. Maybe not have 12. You know, maybe not have 12 and make 6 of them work. You know, I don't know. I'm not a genius. Last but not least, if your neighbor's apartment smells, say something.
I'm saying.
Be that woman.
Or all voices matter.
Amen.
That's right.
All right, y'all, we're going to wrap it up. We got out of here before 2 hours.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll see y'all next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, y'all.
Bye.